Hello there everyone, how are y'all doing today and welcome back to our channel. Back in 2009, the team behind Ghost Adventures famously decided to go to what was then called the most haunted island in the world. Now, even more than a decade later, there's still a lot about that episode that people don't know. Today, we'll take a look at the true story behind the Ghost Adventures Poveglia Island episode. What's Poveglia Island all about? Poveglia Island is a relatively small island located just off the eastern coast of northern Italy. Back in the day, it was used as a military checkpoint as well as a sort of safe haven by soldiers. On the creepy side of things, it's also been a place where an asylum for the insane used to be. What Poveglia Island is mainly known for are the horrors the people who used to inhabit it faced during the bubonic plague. This was where the infected people were sent away and left to live out their days in misery. So yeah, it wouldn't be an understatement to say that the island has somewhat of a history, if you will. To this day, Poveglia is pretty much feared by the locals. They think of it as a haunted island, a place where ghosts and evil spirits reside. Still, even fishermen try their best to avoid going near the island. Still, this didn't stop Ghost Adventures from making their way to the place and shooting a whole episode on it. Inside the bubonic plague and the Venetian Republic. The Venetian Republic came into power in the 7th century and lasted for nearly 1,000 years after that. It was considered to be a maritime republic with a robust economy as well as a powerful navy defending it. Unfortunately, the Republic was hit by the bubonic plague really badly in the 14th century. This plague, as we all know, was way up there when it comes to the deadliest pandemics in the history of humankind. It started in Sicily in the middle of the 14th century and only a few years later made its way to Venice, killing off half of the population. This was also a learning moment for the Venetians, who found out a lot regarding how diseases spread and also how it was people from the outside world who brought this curse upon their land. During this, they learned how to separate people who weren't infected from the people who were. The horrors of Poveglia Island. Poveglia Island became a thing when the bubonic plague was at an all-time high. The island was put in use by the Venetian authorities who wanted to put a lid on the calamity. They decided to use Poveglia as an area where people who got the plague would be quarantined, and by quarantined, they actually meant leaving these people there to die. Nearly 20,000 people were thrown on the 17-acre island. That's not nearly enough area to keep that many people in. The sheer amount of overcrowding prompted the higher-ups to try to come up with a way through which the spread of line among the island population could be stopped, so they did a mass cremation. To this day, a large chunk of Poveglia soil is made up of the charred remains of people. Centuries later, in 1922, a mental hospital was built on the island, which only made the whole story even more horrid. Mind you, there are also reports that people who are not at all right in the head were brutally experimented on in that hospital. Before we continue with our video, do be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel if you're enjoying the video. Also, do remember to press the bell icon so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming content. Now let's get back to what we were talking about. What's Poveglia Island like? Like all haunted places, people have reported feeling many kinds of odd things when visiting Poveglia Island. These people include the members of the Ghost Adventures team. While they were exploring the island, a white orb apparently shot through Aaron Goodwin's neck and disappeared, after which he started to feel drowsy. Not only that, when Zach went towards Aaron to aid him, he began feeling a plethora of negative emotions towards his team members for no reason at all. The EMF device the guys had with them also showed a reading that was off the charts. While going through the plague field, the team also had a few weird moments. They heard loud footsteps behind them, and even their equipment was knocked down with so much force that blaming it on wind didn't make sense at all. Heck, if that wasn't enough, a mist also appeared not far from them while saying things like, "Hey, let's fight, bye-bye" in Italian. The current state of the island. As of now, tourists aren't allowed to visit this haunted island. The island was sold to an entrepreneur back in 2014 after the Italian, due to having a massive debt problem, auctioned the island off for $700,000. There's been a lot of speculation regarding what the next move is for the island, which in other words leads us to believe what's going to happen next. The most popular suggestion is that there are plans to build some sort of a luxury hotel on it. Wouldn't that be a sight to see? A 5-star hotel built on a haunted place. It almost sounds like a really good plot for a potential horror movie, wouldn't you think, guys? Well, this about brings us to the end of our video. This was a look at the truth behind the Ghost Adventures episode of Poveglia Island.